Hi there. Well, welcome to this recording by the Art Gallery of Regina of our Members Show and Sale Guidelines for our 2023 Members Show and Sale. I will be putting this together with some recordings that I made during our live drop-in session on Tuesday night, and please note that you can find the complete guidelines on our website, www.artgalleryofregina.ca. The Members Show and Sale this year will be in our main gallery from May 5th to 27th. Submissions are currently open and will be open until midnight on Saturday, April 15th. I would like to thank Lakeview Fine Foods, our exhibition sponsor, for sponsoring the Art Gallery of Regina's Members Show and Sale. This is a wonderful partnership for us. Lakeview Fine Foods is not only a business in our local neighborhood, but also is a local single owner business and also carries many local products. So that really connects nicely with the Art Gallery of Regina's goals to share artworks by Saskatchewan artists. All right, so our dates to remember. March 15th, submissions open. April 15th is the entry deadline. May 2nd is the artwork drop-off day. May 5th is the opening day of the Member Show and Sale, and we will also have a reception from 1 to 4 p.m. on May 5th. So please invite your friends, family, and any potential buyers of your work. May 27th is the last day of the show and sale, and May 30th is the artwork pickup day. Some people may be asking, how do I submit my work? We are accepting submissions through our online submission form. It's very easy. One thing asks you a lot of questions, mostly how can we get in touch with you and what label should we stick on your artwork. So please visit our website, www.artgalleryofregina.ca/membershowandSale to fill out the form. And you should, when you complete the form, get an email right away back from the Google form with all of your answers in it. If you have difficulties or have some challenges accessing a computer, please give us a call at 306-522-5940, and our staff will be happy to help you. We'll fill in the form while we have you on the phone. Next question here is, who can submit? So first of all, any artworks that meet the Art Gallery of Regina's guidelines are accepted. So this is a non-juried, non-curated show. And who can submit their artworks to the Members Show and Sale? Well, they must be 18 years of age and older, a resident of Saskatchewan, and have a current Art Gallery of Regina membership and be a member in good standing. If you need to get a membership or renew your membership, you can do that online, again at www.artgalleryofregina.ca. If you go to the top right-hand corner, you'll see a tab that says More, and under there, join us or become a member, and just click there. You can do it all online. Otherwise, you can give us a call at 306-522-5940. We can process your membership payment over the phone, or you can drop in person at 2420 Elphinstone Street. What can I submit? We have many categories. You can submit work to any or all of the categories, and these I will detail for you. All artworks must be original. This means no reproductions, copies, or works made from a commercial kit. So something like a paint by numbers would not be acceptable because it is not your own original artistic vision. My colleague and I have discussed removing the no giclée prints from our guidelines. So as long as the giclée print, which means an inkjet print, is still your original artwork, that is acceptable. So no passing off other people's artwork as your own, or even if you painted it but it was traced or something like that, that's not original. Person submitting the work must be the creator. Work created in a class or a workshop is appropriate, and all artworks must be for sale. And this is because the Art Gallery of Regina's Members Show and Sale is a fundraiser for the gallery, and in fact, one of our biggest and most important fundraisers of the year. Next, we will do the categories overview. As I mentioned before, you can submit artwork to any or all of these categories. Wall work, this is primarily two-dimensional works such as paintings or drawings. Could also include textiles works that are meant to be hung on the wall, or even glass works that are flat and hang on the wall. These works can be framed, or if it's a painting on a stretched canvas, that's also acceptable. Those don't need to be frames, but they must be prepared to hang from a single nail, and I will go into this. The limits for wall work are 2 works per entrant. We also have a new category as of last year called table work, and this is again primarily two-dimensional artworks up to 15 inches maximum size to be displayed on a tabletop easel, and we have a limit of 1 per entrant. We also have pedestal work. This encompasses sculpture, jewelry, functional pottery, textiles, and fiber art. And basically any 3-dimensional work that is not suitable for wall hanging. The maximum number is different depending on what your art form is. So pedestal work that is jewelry, functional pottery, textiles, or fiber art, the maximum and submissions is 6. The number is 3 for sculpture, and I believe this is primarily based on how much size we expect these works to take up in the gallery. And the last category is works on paper. These are unframed items such as prints, photographs, drawings, etc. that are on paper, and they are loose in a bin for browsing, and I will talk a little bit more about these as well. And works on paper are also limited to 6 per entrant. Oops. Wall work guidelines. So wall work is limited to 2 items per entrant, primarily two-dimensional works framed or on canvas that hang from a single nail. So once again, a limit is a maximum of 2 per entrant, and these must be one continuous piece, so no diptychs, triptychs, or other joined or non-joined groupings. And this is partly because our members show and sale is installed by a group of volunteers who contribute their time to hang up to 300 artworks in a very short period of time. So we want to make their jobs easier, and we appreciate your assistance where it can be very challenging for us to put 2 things that are not actually one item together the way that you would like them to be prepared. Also, the maximum size for wall work cannot exceed 40 inches in any dimension. Weight cannot exceed 15 pounds. So even if your work was, say, something like 60 inches by 5 inches, very tall and thin, say, that would not be acceptable. It's not an average of the dimensions per side, but any dimension cannot be greater than 40 inches. And the reason it should not be more than 15 pounds, again, is because it's hanging from a single nail. We don't want that to break the hanging wire or perhaps bend the nail, and if your work falls off the wall and gets damaged, we would certainly not be happy. And of course, be prepared to hang from a single nail. Your works must be in sellable condition. This means Alright, so works must be clean and in sellable condition, so that means no stains and smudges. It should be fully dried, so especially if you work in oil paint, this is something to be aware of. We don't want to get it smudged as we're hanging on the wall, have somebody who's volunteering to help us hang the artworks get oil paint on their clothing, and we don't want the smells of undried media as well. Frames should be clean and sturdy. Canvas stretchers and supports should not be warped or loose. So you'll see sometimes that a canvas that's stretched on a wooden stretcher, it can kind of twist and come away from the wall. That doesn't look professional. So if that happens to you, either don't put that work in the show and sale, or you can take it off of the stretcher and stretch it onto a new stretcher. Your work should be completed, so don't submit unfinished work. If you are working with a fragile surface such as pastel or charcoal, it should be fixed with spray fixative, and work must be prepared for hanging using wires and D-rings, and business cards may be attached to the back. And this is because of a not so recent change to Canadian privacy law. We can no longer share information about purchasers with our members. So if you want to include a thank you note or your contact information so that the purchaser can get in touch with you in the future, learn about your other exhibitions, or take advantage of other opportunities to purchase your work, please include that on the back of your work. And now I'm going to show you what I mean by when I say it must be prepared to hang from one nail. So this is just 2D work in a pretty ordinary frame, not an extremely expensive frame. And it does have these little tabs here to hang, but for the gallery, for the member show and sale, we require that work actually has a hanging wire so that we can hang it from a single nail. So this little tab that's on the back here to hang from, it's just really not quite sufficient. It's going to be really difficult for, again, our volunteers to get it to hang on that nail. So what I'm going to do is measure my frame here. Okay, and I would suggest maybe about 1/3 of the way down the side. So there are some holes here from previous, and that is because if you are exhibiting in our outside the box hallway gallery, which is a low barrier opportunity for members to show and sell their works, it does work better if you put your hanging wire higher up on the frame. But for the gallery, we're gonna move these D-rings down. Here, so I have some D-rings here, and this would be kind of what a common D-ring would look like. Yeah, there we go. So you can see that there is a hole, and there is also kind of a loop at the top. So we're going to attach these D-rings. You really need only very small screws for the D-rings. So this is a really small screw. And because I don't want to crack the frame, I'm going to drill a pilot hole. So I'm going to use a drill bit that is the width of the shaft of the screw without counting the width of the threads on the screw. And I do recommend measuring because you want your D-rings to be equal on each side of your artwork so that it doesn't hang crooked. Now, if you don't have access to a drill, you could, and if you are getting your artworks framed, you could ask the framer to put the D-rings on for you. They should probably do that regardless. And I've already actually attached the hanging wire here, so I've just left it attached on one side. All right. And then, so this is just picture hanging wire. You can get these usually in any art supply store, framing shop, hardware store. You can get picture hanging kits. The Art Gallery of Regina does hope that you will use coated wire. So a raw, especially like a steel wire, it can leave black marks on our walls, so we want to avoid that. And you're just going to attach it from one side of the D-ring to the other. You want to avoid the hanging wire coming up above the top of the frame. That would not be good if it was above the top of the frame. Okay, and all I'm going to do now is take the hanging wire here, and I need to loop it, not just thread it through the top of the loop at the top of the D-ring once, but actually loop it through again so that it is completely around. And I have these little pliers here so that I can more easily pull it through, especially because I already used this wire once, so it's a little kinky and hard to get a grip on. Right, and there, yeah, so it looks like it's not going to come up above the top of the frame, but just barely. So I think I might try and squeeze a little bit more of the hanging wire through. Okay, and you don't want the hanging wire to be totally straight between these 2 points. It shouldn't be like taut like a guitar string, just to ensure that as the weight of the picture hangs on it, that it doesn't end up kind of pulling it through. Okay, and now that I have that looped over the ring and I can test and I can see, okay, it's not going to come up above the top of the frame. So now I can just twist the wire along the length. The tail, I'll call it the tail, the tail of the hanging wire along the length of the wire on the back. And depending on your wire, you don't want to over twist and end up, breaking your wire. So use some caution. And there I can see that this will now hang from one nail, and it's not going to, that hanging wire is not going to come above the top of the frame. Some other things to note. That you can see I've attached our labels already to the back of this frame. And so the labels have a spot for you to include your name, the artwork title, medium, dimensions, year created, and price. And this is something that we ask when people are labeling their two-dimensional works that are going on the wall, again, because we count a lot on volunteers and we are putting up a lot of paintings in a very short period of time, or I should say 2D works for the wall, is that we ask you to attach one label with tape on the back and tie a piece of string on the other label so that when it is behind, it can hang. Actually, I should shorten this a little bit. So when this is behind, it can flip there. And this is because when we are preparing the exhibition, we will hang up all the artworks on the wall, and then we will put the labels on. And if so we want to be able to see this hanging over the front when it's hanging on the wall. So like that, if it's hanging from a single nail, so we can see that. And then when we put the label on the wall, we can just flip this over to the back, and it's not going to hang down in the back behind either. So that's what we want for the labels for the 2D works. Okay, and table work is somewhat similar two-dimensional work. These will be on a small tabletop easel. The maximum size is 15 inches in any direction for the work sitting on a tabletop easel, and these would be primarily two-dimensional works that are framed or on canvas. The limit is 1 per entrant, and once again, these must be one continuous piece, no diptychs, triptychs, or other non-joined groupings or joined groupings. Size cannot exceed 15 inches in any direction, and the work must be free from stains and smudges, fully dried. Frames should be clean and sturdy. Canvas stretchers and support should not be warped or loose. All paintings must be well affixed. No damage or broken work will be accepted. Completed, so do not give us an unfinished work. Fragile surfaces such as pastel or charcoal should be fixed with spray fixative. If you wish, attach a business card to the back, and it should also be prepared for hanging by the purchaser. So it doesn't necessarily need to be as this one was with the hanging wire. So this one does have some hanging hardware that are already part of the frame. So we wouldn't, if this was going to be a tabletop work, we wouldn't necessarily have to add the D-rings and the hanging wire. And once again, these works should be labeled. Now, works on paper, and I have a couple of examples here. So these are two that I've kind of packaged up already. But works on paper are unframed items such as prints, photographs, drawings, etc. on paper. These items are loose in a bin for browsing. We highly recommend backing works on paper with sturdy cardboard and protecting them in a plastic wrap, and the size cannot exceed 22 inches by 30 inches. The limit is 6 per entrant, and again, the work must be in sellable condition, meaning clean, free from stains and smudges, fully dried, completed. So once again, don't submit unfinished works. Fragile surfaces such as pastel or charcoal should be fixed with spray fixative. The work should be undamaged, and you may attach business cards if you wish. And here I can show you an example of how I would recommend packaging your work for the print bin. So the print bin items will be loose in a bin, and I should put up a photo of our print bin. Okay, so maybe I will cut in something from the previous demo to show you what the print bin looks like, or maybe I will just take a photo and plop it in. So this is an example. So this is just a regular photograph. As you can see, it's quite bendy, so we don't want to have it loose where people will be leafing through all the many works on paper that could be fragile in the print bin. So I'm going to back this with just a piece of kind of heavier cardstock, so it's not, it's not super thick, it's not matte board, but this is rigid enough. And I would recommend also ensuring that your backing is only a little bit larger than the artwork that you're going to back with that sturdy card. And a good way to do this is you can get a clear plastic sleeve. So oftentimes these are used to package comic books to protect them. And you can get these sleeves a lot of places, craft stores, stationery stores. And I'm just going to slip so I'm not attaching in any way the photograph to the backing. I'm just putting them both loosely together inside the sleeve. And the plastic sleeve will also protect your work on paper from getting dirty or damaged as people leaf through. And another thing that I recommend, I made a bit of a bad call here, is to put the tag the artwork tag inside your plastic covering as well. And that is so instead of sticking it on the outside, taping it on the outside, I would recommend putting it inside the sleeve so that it doesn't get knocked off and lost. Just to make sure that everything stays together. Okay, so my photographic print and my backing paper are in there, and then you could either put the artwork label inside the front, inside your plastic sleeve in front, or on the back if you don't want that to interfere with anyone being able to see the entire artwork. So there I have the artwork label in the back, and then I can just seal that bag with a piece of tape on the back, and this is ready to go in the print bin. It's safe for people to be moving this around now. This one I prepared earlier as well during our live question and answer on Tuesday night. So this one is a print, and the print is on just a piece of foam core. So it's a little bit thicker and heavier. However, foam core also can dent very easily. So it's probably fine because this print is so small. Again, I made the foam core just a little bit bigger than the print, so you can see there the difference in size. And this is just a photo sleeve like you would get to put in a binder. And because the print is so much smaller than the sleeve, what I'm going to do is to fold the sleeve twice. And tape it down in the back, and I don't I don't see any other artwork labels over here in my work area, so I'm not going to put an artwork label in, but again, I would recommend that you put the artwork label inside. So now the print is protected. If it's rubbing up against other things, it's not going to harm it. It's not going to get bent at all. There's no bend in this. There's a little bit of bend in the cardstock. And these are both packaged, protected, ready to go in the print bin. So it's like when you go record shopping and you're leafing through like this. There are some other options. So this kind of plastic sleeve is not your only option. You could also use what is called cellophane wrap. And you can buy clear cellophane wrap a lot of times in the floral section of the grocery store, different craft stores, but make sure it's clear cellophane wrap, not the colored cellophane wrap, and you can just cut it and overlap it in the back and tape it together in the back so that, again, there is a solid layer of that hard plastic covering your artwork. You don't want to use like plastic wrap, cling film, because that's too soft. It won't really provide the protection for your artwork. So those are the table work guidelines, the works on paper guidelines. Here's an illustration here, and this shows a work that is, in fact, the artist included a piece of mat board with an oval cutout as well, and it's wrapped in plastic, so you can see the little image down at the bottom there. So that's a piece that was in the print bin a few years ago by Zongliang Huang. And yeah, that includes a mat as well as the plastic mat, so you could use that, or plastic wrap, you could do that as well. Pedestal work guidelines. Pedestal work includes jewelry, pottery, sculpture, and three-dimensional work not suitable for wall hanging. A maximum number for jewelry, textiles, or functional pottery pieces is 6 per entrant. Maximum number of sculptures is 3 per entrant. The work must be able to safely sit on a pedestal, so it shouldn't be too large or too precarious. So most of our pedestals, the top surface is about 30 inches by 30 inches, so keep that in mind. If it's an absolutely massive sculpture, it probably won't be able to sit on top of a pedestal, or if it is an item that can't stand on its own, is probably not the right venue for that work. The work cannot exceed 25 inches in any dimension and cannot exceed 20 pounds. And again, this is just to ensure fairness, that everyone has an opportunity to put their work in the member show and sale, that we have enough room for everyone. Yeah. And also safety, something that's over 20 pounds, we would be very concerned if that got knocked over and either broke or injured someone. Once again, pedestal work should be clean and in sellable condition. So that means clean, free from stains and smudges, thoroughly fired if it is ceramics, or dried if it's other materials, made from stable materials. So it shouldn't be something that is going to rot or fall apart. Pottery should be free from cracks and damage. If you are making pottery that is not food safe, be sure to label it as such. Label your work on the bottom for identification using the AGR's printable tags. So these are the ones that I showed you, like this. And these are on our website. On the member show and sale page, there is a PDF there of the artwork labels, as long as it has the information, which is the artist's full name, the artwork title or other identifier if there is no title, material, price, and dimensions, and year created. Attach pottery and jewelry labels with a string or stickers. I recommend doing that on the bottom of the piece. And once again, business cards may be submitted that we can place on the pedestal business cards may be submitted with items to be placed next to the artwork on the pedestals. How to submit. Simply fill out the online submission form with your personal details and artwork label information. I should mention before we go on to this, if you have work that seems to not fit easily into one of our categories, please give the Art Gallery of Regina a call at 306-522-5940, and we can talk over with you what the best category to submit your work in would be. So let's say we don't have a category for glass. You could be doing glass that is more sculptural, or you could be doing glass that is more two-dimensional and maybe is suitable for hanging on the wall or displaying on an easel. So please give us a call. The same with textiles. You might be making something that is more sculptural in nature and should be displayed on a pedestal, or even if it's, let's say, textiles that are more clothing or functional, like a quilt, that would be most likely something that you would want to display on a pedestal rather than if it's not a wall hanging, we wouldn't want to hang it with the two-dimensional works on the wall. Okay, so how to submit. To enter, simply fill out the online submission form with your personal details and the artwork label information. Once again, go to our website, artgalleryofregina.ca/members show and sale. When filling out the form, please remember to ensure the artwork label information you enter is correct. We print the labels directly from the information you send. Only complete the fields for the appropriate categories. Leave fields that do not apply blank. And I will show you this because I'm going to take you through that online form. Email photographs of the artwork you are submitting to the show and sale to info@artgalleryofregina.ca, or select one of the other options. Either have the gallery take your photographs for you or have no photographs. And I will tell you that the photographs that we use are primarily for our online sales page. And this is a way, it's a great way to sell the works when people aren't coming into the gallery in person, or sometimes people look online and pick out what they might want to buy when they do come in person. So we do recommend that you include a photograph. We're happy to take the photographs for you, but we do recommend that you take your own. That way you can ensure that the photographs are really what you want, including things that can be tricky, such as ensuring that the color is truly represents your artwork. You can send your images as attachments, but don't embed them in the body of the email. And label your images with your name, the title of the artwork, and ensure all the images are correctly labeled on the image. We are getting hundreds of emails with photographs attached, so if we're not sure what's what, it's not going to be very helpful to us. So send your form. You have until midnight by April 15th, this Saturday, to submit your form. However, you can send us your photographs up until May 2nd. And now I'm just going to take you to the members show and sale page and complete the online form so that you can see what that looks like. All right, so once you click the link, this is the page that you'll see. Submit the form by April 15th, 2023 at midnight. You can email us your images. If you're having any difficulties, give us a call and make sure you read our guidelines. So the first thing you need to do is fill this out with your email address. You don't need to have a Gmail address. Just any email address is fine. And make sure that when you fill out your mailing address, you include your entire address, including postal code, because if you sell your work, this is what we will use to mail your check. And then click off all of the categories that you intend to submit your work to. Now, if you have wall work, and you're submitting to this category, the maximum is 2 submissions and you have 2 places. And we want your label information in this order, including all of this information. So the title of the artwork, the medium, the size in inches, your name. Now, if you have a legal name and you have a different name as an artist, use your artist name. This is what we will print the artwork labels from. And the price for the work. Please remember that the maximum price for artworks in the show and sale is $800. The minimum price is $15. Now, I just skipped that one and went to the next section because I'm not submitting any 2D wall works. This is the table work section. You have maximum of 1 work, the same format for submitting the label information. And again, I'm not submitting to this category, so I'm just going to slip to next. Now, works on paper, you have a maximum of 6 that you can submit to this category. And once again, please submit your information in the same format. So title, medium, size, your name, and price. And finally, pedestal work, sculpture. So there is a maximum of 3 in this category. So I will put my artwork here. And when you put the price in for your artwork, it should not include PST. The AGR will calculate the PST on prices. Okay, and if I had functional ceramics, textiles, or jewelry, I could enter up to 6 in the next category. And then finally, we get to the last, images, guidelines, and drop-off. So I'm going to say yes. I am emailing these to info@artgalleryregina.ca. And these photos, they don't have to be professional quality photos. iPhone photos are fine. Make sure that you put down, for example, a piece of paper or some sort of solid background, not like a wood grain table, and something that shows your work to its best advantage. I have read and abide by the guidelines, so please read them. If you have a GST number for your business as an artist, click that off. No, I do not collect GST on my behalf as an artist. Generally, artists with a GST number are making over $35,000 of sales in a year. And here I acknowledge that the artwork drop-off date is May 2nd from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and I'm gonna click, I'm gonna drop it off myself. And there it is, it's complete. And if I go to my email now, I will have an email that will have all of the information, the form, all of my answers that I just submitted. Okay, where will the show and sale be? It will be in the Art Gallery of Regina's main gallery space, and all members are automatically included in both the online and person exhibitions. We have updated or upgraded our online sales platforms to be even easier to navigate, making it also easier for our community to engage with your works. So where you're going now to see the guidelines and important dates on our website, the member show and sale page, that will be all full of the store images. And I'm just going to maybe share another page from the Art Gallery of Regina's website with you here, just so you can see what that looks like. So here we are on the outside the box display case sale page, and right now outside the box display case has works by Regina and Area Potters Guild, and this is really similar to how the works from the member show and sale will appear. So the images are a kind of smaller grid of images, and here you can see that we have the title of the artwork and the price. I've calculated the PST into these prices, but when you submit the prices, don't calculate that. And here, when I click on that, I can see the full image and more details. And here I see the entire entry. So I see the artist name, the title of the artwork, the medium, the dimensions, and the year. And of course, the price is right here. And I can just click to add to my cart and buy it. So it's really easy with our online sales page. And as I said, this is also kind of great marketing where people will look at the online sales page before they even come to the gallery to determine what they might like to buy. The Art Gallery of Regina is located inside the Neil Bothwell Civic Arts Center at 2420 Elphinstone Street, Regina. The nearest intersection is College Avenue and Elphinstone Street. There is accessible parking at the front and back doors to the building, and parking is always free. The Art Gallery of Regina is a free admission gallery. Our hours are Tuesdays through Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Fridays through Saturdays, 1 to 5 p.m. So unlike some things that you may have participated in, like craft fairs, where there is an entry fee for people coming in to purchase, no entry fee ever for the Art Gallery of Regina. And here is a map. If you, again, go to our website, there is a map there. There's also information about the buses. The nearest bus stop with service from number 8 and 9 buses is just right over here on Elphinstone Street, and we're over here. And yeah, I encourage you once again to look at the guidelines on our website, and you can see that map there if you haven't been here before. Make sure you come to the right building. Don't go to the Senior Center, which is closer to Elphinstone Street. Pricing your artwork. This is a question that everyone has. So first of all, be aware. The minimum price is $15. The maximum price is $800. So, and this includes everything, including if your work is framed, it includes the frame. So take this into consideration. Price your work thoughtfully and consider the labor and materials invested in your work, including framing, what people are likely to pay for artwork, how other show and sale participants are pricing their work, and that 30% of artwork sales support the Art Gallery of Regina. And I will say, if you want some comparisons, I recommend that you go to, once again, the Art Gallery of Regina's website, and under exhibitions, click on previous exhibitions and go down to 2021. There's a PDF there of our member show and sale from that year, and you can have a look at sort of similar size and medium artworks and what the prices were for those works. It's a little bit tricky. You don't want to undervalue your work. You don't want to charge too high a price. I did this myself. I had forgotten what I was charging for my work, and I had accidentally increased my price, and I went from selling everything to selling nothing, even though the difference was only about like $10 to $15. So, and unfortunately we don't put works on sale in the member show and sale. So that is something that you have to kind of carefully calculate. The Members Show and Sale is one of the Art Gallery of Regina's most important fundraising events. The Art Gallery of Regina is a charity that serves the public good through 3 publicly accessible exhibitions, free artist talks, affordable workshops, and more. 30% of Members Show and Sale sales directly support the Art Gallery of Regina's charitable activities. By submitting work to the Members Show and Sale, you agree to contribute 30% of sales to the Art Gallery of Regina. The Art Gallery of Regina handles all sales for duration of the member show and sale. Participating artists should sell work included in the show and sale, or should not, sell work independent of the gallery for the duration of the event. So even we've had this happen where somebody's family member saw their artwork in the show and sale and wanted to buy it, and they told their family member, buy it from the Art Gallery of Regina, and we got our 30% from that sale. So we're very grateful to those artists and their family for their support of the gallery. The Art Gallery of Regina mails checks for the balance of sales proceeds to the artists, and we also issue a charitable tax receipt for the 30% donated portion of artwork sales, along with the check for the artwork proceeds. So if my artwork was for sale for $100, I would get a check for $70, and I would get a charitable tax receipt for $30, and those will both be mailed after the event. We remit GST to artists who have provided us with their GST numbers, and really you don't even need to provide us with your GST number. Simply click off I have a GST number on your submission form. And we regret that due to the high volume of sales, we cannot notify artists of their sales until after the show and sale closes. Hot tip though, if you go to the online sales portal for the show and sale, you'll be able to see if your artwork has sold. Usually it'll have the price will be gone, and there'll be something that says out of stock beside it, and that means it's been sold. And for privacy reasons, as I mentioned, we cannot share purchaser information. We recommend that you include a business or thank you card so buyers may contact you if they wish. And I will say it probably takes us about a month to finish all the paperwork and to requisition the checks and make the charitable receipts for sales. So we won't have those payments available for you when you come to pick up any unsold works on May 30th at the end of the show and sale. Now I've explained the artwork labels so that any artwork should be labeled with our label, and it's only the 2-dimensional works hanging on the wall that should have an additional label hanging off the back like this. So there is one label fixed permanently to the back of this artwork. Before we put the label up on the wall, we'll have this one that can hang over to the front, so we make sure we put the right label on the right artwork, and then we'll flip it over to the back when this is labeled. Everything else just needs one label. If it's 2-dimensional work, you can put that on the bottom of the artwork if you like, as long as we can find it to match up our gallery label. I did explain the hanging and the D-rings, but you can again have a look at the member show and sale guidelines for more information about attaching hanging wires and D-rings. And please use coated wire because non-coated wire, so It has a tendency to mark our white gallery walls, and it can be quite a bit of work to get rid of those black scuffs on the wall. So coated wire will have a plastic coating on it, and that's what we prefer. And also in the member show and sale guidelines, we have some tips for photographing your work. And this is because we do include all the artworks also and automatically on the online sales page. We recommend that work should be taken straight on, especially if it is two-dimensional work. And try and make sure iPhone is great, or a smartphone is great. You can overlay a grid to make sure that you're not skewing things so that your square painting looks smaller at the top than at the bottom. Make sure it's evenly lit, represents the colors faithfully, does not have glare. So we especially appreciate when artists who have work framed under glass provide us their photos in advance, because it's very difficult for us to take a photo once the work is framed under glass. There's always glare. Make sure your photographs are not blurry, they're in focus, and crop to the edges of the artwork. So don't include too much wall or all your kitchen, other things in the background, and make sure that the artwork is straightened but not distorted. So if I took this from down below and I was like, oh, it's not quite straight, if I try and just stretch the bottom of the photograph so that the bottom of the painting looks bigger, I could in fact end up distorting the image. And photograph against a neutral, non-distracting background, and show the entire artwork. In the case of 3D work, take a shot of the best angle. And in fact, the 3D artworks, you can include more than one in the online sales page. Just make sure that they're well labeled for us so we understand this is a single artwork and two different views of it, and then we can include them both in the online sales page. And then we have some examples of photographed work on the very back page, and there's also some tutorials that we included some links to there. So you can watch those on YouTube as well. And thank you for watching this video, and thank you for supporting the Art Gallery of Regina by submitting your work to our member show and sale.